Hello, everybody. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Monique, and I'm on a financial health journey to create an inheritance for the generations to come. And I want to do that through consistency and discipline. Today, we are here to do a January closeout, kind of, where I'm just going to talk about my goals and whether or not I was able to accomplish those, and then also do a debt update as well, just to make sure that I have documented what it looks like as far as the debt, my consumer debt is concerned. And I consider consumer debt minus mortgage is basically what it is. My debt minus mortgage. Anyway, thanks to everybody who's liked or commented on any of my videos, and for those who have decided to follow me or follow the channel or subscribe to the channel, thank you so much. I started this as a way to hold myself accountable, but I do understand, recognize, and appreciate the community as a whole. We've got similar goals. We just got different ways of getting there. So if you decided to rock with me on this journey, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you haven't chosen to subscribe yet, and you see some content that you're liking, go ahead, follow me. Let's get to know each other. How about that? Okay. So we're going to talk through first my January goals. Now, I'm just going to review what my goals were as far as January is concerned, not cover what my new goals are for February. And these are mini goals. So I set my 2024 goals overall. And there's a previous video around that that you can check out if you want. But from there, I've decided to do mini goals to help me get to my major goals. So anything that you pretty much see here is tied to some type of major goal that I already set. When I set these mini goals in January, I only had 4. But since then, and as I've been reviewing my major goals, the bigger 2024 goals, I realized that there were some things I could actually get accomplished in January that didn't have to wait any longer. So I just went ahead and added those in. So I started with 4 goals, I ended with 5, and I got 3 out of the 5 completed. So let's talk about it. So the first thing is 15 no spend days, and that was number 1. And I am happy to say I'm at 100% on that one. So I am filming this on January the 31st, and I'm not going out the house, and I've got all my groceries, and I got all my gas, and I don't have anywhere to go. So I'm going to mark that one off as a no spend day today as well. So when you look here and you count them up, I got 3 week 1, 4 week 2, 3 week 3, 3 week 3, and 3 week 3, 3 week 4, and 3 in week 5. And so overall, that's about 16 days. So I was able to meet my goal of 15 days for the month of January. So I marked that one off as complete. The next one was to read Genesis, all of the chapters for the month. And I am around 80. I'm somewhere between 80 and 95% on that one. I'm right here. I'm within chapters 40 to 45. So I cannot mark this one off as complete, but I did really well. Now, what I realized is that I think my goal was a little lofty. I think it was a little bit difficult to meet because I really did not... I'll say it this way. Could I read Genesis in a month? Absolutely. I could probably read Genesis in a week and a half. I love to read books. I read books all the time. But this is a little misleading. It's not about reading it. It's about understanding it and really aligning with it and taking down some notes and documenting some things. And so I did not leave a lot of time to do that within this process. And so I want to do it a little bit differently. Right now, what I think I'm going to do for February is that I want to do a chapter a day. And so depending on how many days in the month, that depends on how many chapters I plan on reading. So, and it's not going to be tied to us having a specific book done for the month. So for February, 29 days. So my thought is 29 chapters is what I need to be able to do. So I think that's what I'm going to do for February, but we will see. Next was workout 3 times a week. So my workout is not based in a gym. Okay. I gave up my gym membership when I saw the changes in my income at the beginning of the month, and I needed to cut back on some things just to make accommodations so that I could account for that money I wasn't going to be getting for a while. And so with that, right now, working out 3 times a week, at least for January, was basically going to the park and walking 2 to 3 miles, 3 to 5 times, 3 to 4 times a week. But the weather has been horrible. And I'm not talking, my rule of thumb is if it's 32 degrees or higher, right? So if the water doesn't freeze, then I won't. So I can go out and walk. That's my motto. If it is less than 32 degrees, so if water can freeze, then Monique can freeze. So, and Monique's not gonna walk on those days. So it's been very difficult and very challenging for this. So I've got to adjust this one as well. I don't know what I'm going to adjust it to. I have some CDs and stuff for like some stepping, and I have a little step thing and all of that kind of stuff. And I might go back to stepping. You know, my knees just, they just don't act right. But I may go back to stepping for the month of February because I think it's still going to be cold. So I'm still working through that one, but I did not achieve that one for the month. I got to 20%, which means I worked out 3 times for the month of January. Okay, next is save $50. Let's move it up a little bit. Save $50 from variable spending. I did that in the week 1. I was at 100%, and I've continued to save since then. So I probably will do a recap of how much money I've been able to save for my variable expenses, maybe as a part of one of my weekly budget check-ins. I don't know, we'll see. But I reached this goal in the first week, so I'm going to set this goal again for February, and I'm probably going to try to reach a higher amount for that one. And then this was the add-on. So when I looked back at my mid-month period, I looked back at the 2024 goals that I had set. One of the things that was tied to my content page is around creating a playlist for all of the YouTube videos that are already loaded. And so I was able to add that one to this list probably about a week and a half ago, and I was able to accomplish it. So I am at 100% on that. So you can now go to my channel under playlist, and you see all the budget with me's together, the weekly budget check-ins together, monthly overviews together, savings challenge, sinking funds updates together as well. So mark that one off. So out of the 5, I was able to accomplish 3. The February goals will be covered as a part of another video later, so we won't cover those now. But I don't feel too bad about what I've been able to accomplish for so far in January or so far in 2024. I took a look already at my 2024 goals, looked those over, and I came up with 5 additional or new, I should say new, not in addition, but 5 new mini goals for February, and we'll talk about those on a later video. All right, so let's look at my Finance Pal. This came from Breezy Organization. I use it as a supplement to the finance pages that are included in the Breezy Organization Life Planner that I use as well. And this has been extremely helpful in making sure that I stay on track as far as my bills are concerned. So we'll start with budget first. So now the way that the budget looks, you guys should be able to see that, is I basically wrote in all of the bills that I have, whether I pay them monthly, quarterly, or annually, they're all listed here. I try to separate them out on what I feel like is a fixed expense versus having my debt and subscriptions, etc., down here at the bottom. The way I have it outlined might not make sense to you, but it's okay because it just makes sense to me. For every month, I will do this. And so I've copied the first, second, and third columns of this spreadsheet for January, and it's already been copied to February. I'll copy it to March, April, May, etc., and we'll keep going from there. But it is to make sure that I stay on track with my bills. And what I do is come back in and fill in the actuals, which lets you know how much I actually paid for that bill. And then I check it off once it's actually cleared from the account the majority of my bills are on some type of auto pay. But I do have them documented as far as when they're supposed to be paid. And then I go to my bank account, my bills bank account, and I look to make sure that they have cleared. So they've all cleared now for January, and that's my alert that it's okay for me to now set up for February and go ahead and do a January closeout. Like I mentioned before, February is already documented here, which is cool because I've already paid my mortgage for February. I saved for it in January. I've already taken care of that. So you write in the actual, and then I have it checked off. Ring has already cleared as well. What you will notice down here at the bottom, for example, so although I have lawn treatment and trash showing on January's bill tracker, I just put a dash for example, for trash, and just marked it off because trash wasn't due in January. It's not due until February 15th. So that's why this date column is so important, because it tells me whether or not something is done, is needed or has to be paid for that month, or maybe it's a quarter, or maybe it's yearly, or maybe it fluctuates, which trash does. So although I did not have to pay it in January, I will have to pay it in February. So I have a spot here again for that one, as well as lawn treatment will be done, etc., etc. So that's what I do for my February budget, my January budget, March budget, etc. We write all the bills out and then we check them off as they go. Likewise, my bills overview is a holistic view of all of the months together. So where the monthly bill tracker is by month, and you just have to scroll to the next page to get to the next month, my bill tracker covers all of the months for 2024. And this will be a quick view to make sure that I have all of my check marks done here and that everything has been paid as well. What I do like about this view that I don't have on the previous view is that if there is something that is due just for a particular month for that year, or a particular quarter for that year, I have this is an idea I got from another YouTuber, but I have documented here so that I understand that. So say, for example, here you'll notice I have the AMC Premiere, okay? I only pay that once a year, and I paid in July. So what I do is I gray out January, February, March, April, May, June. I leave July open, and then I gray out the remaining months. And this lets me know I don't need to worry about it for these other months. I just need to worry about it for July. Same thing for trash. Trash is done every quarter. So it is due in February. That's why February is open. Okay, didn't pay in January. It's open in February. March is closed. April is closed. It's open in May. June and July closed because I don't pay it then. I pay it in August. And so on and so forth. So this lets me know, or gives me a really good view on exactly when these other things are due that are more subscription based or quarterly based, or something that doesn't have to be paid every month. There you go. So I was able to do a quick view of this, and everything that needs to be cleared is cleared using the purple sign or the purple color, or it didn't have to be taken care of, and that means that it's in gray. All right, let's come back out. All right, so that's a budget, that's bills. Let's go to debt. So for debt, all I'm doing is tracking what I make as far as my minimum payment is concerned for each of the debts that I have, and then what my new balance is going to be. I was able to pay the minimum for Kohl's. I was able to pay the minimum for Green Sky. I was able to pay more for Discover. So if you want to think through it in terms of what am I concentrating on for debt, it is my Discover. And the reason why that one is so important is because I have a 0% balance transfers on this Discover card, and that's it. There aren't any other purchases that are on there. And I do that for a reason. This is the way that I take care of my debt. I pay more than is necessary. This Discover bill is only $60 that's due. I paid $200 on it. This is what helps me to take care of the debt, number one, and I need to stay on track with that one and continue to pay more on those and be more aggressive with that, because I want to make sure that I have those balances paid by the time that 0% balance transfer offer ends, so that I do not have to worry about incurring any interest on those. So this is the debt that I concentrate on the most. Ally, made the minimum payment for that one. For my student loans, did the same. I have 2 student loans. They're not mine. They're really my daughter's. I signed the Parent Plus loan on them, and I'm paying them instead of worrying her about paying them. I signed my name, so I just got to take care of them. So it's, but she does give me money. So if you were wondering why I do have my daughter give me money every month, she believes that it's taking care of this. It's not. It's number one, helping me with some of my savings challenges. And I know she's not going to watch my channel, so I'll go ahead and tell you. The other piece to that, though, is that I'm trying to put some money aside for her so that when she's able to she wants to move out again, when she's able to, feels like she's on firmer ground and she's able to move out, she'll have something, right? Some deposit money or whatever that's available for her to use. So I charge her rent. And out of that rent, I take care of savings to help her when she gets ready to go out and be free. So anyway, I paid the minimum on the Nelnet A and B loans on those, and then I paid the minimum on my Bridgecrest, and I paid, which is my car loan, and I paid minimum to PennyMac for my mortgage. Alrighty, so those are done. So with that debt, after the debt, one of the things for 2024 that I wanted to try and do is to save for 2 in particular things that I wanted to try and achieve. And that was clearing some land property that I have in South Carolina, because I feel like I'm going to be moving home to help with my mom. Not pretty soon. It'll be after my daughter graduates from high school, but we'll see. If I have grandbabies, though, I ain't going nowhere. But right now it doesn't look like I'm going to have no grandbabies. So I want to clear the land property, and then I want to fix my fence. I've not been able to start these yet, and I don't think I will be able to start them until after the adjustment that I've seen in my income is done. Right now, it looks like that will happen around the end of May. I have 3 checks that I will receive. It's a magic month for me in May. And after that 3rd check in May, I should be completed as far as that deduction is concerned. And then at that point, beginning in June, I should be back to whatever my normal or standard paycheck should be. And at that point, I will start to save for these. I'm thinking about maybe starting a 100 envelope challenge and be very aggressive with it. When you consider that I'm doing without 30% of my check right now, you know, when June comes, can I keep that same concept in place and start to save aggressively in that 100 envelope challenge and maybe get it done by the end of the year? I don't know. But that might be a goal. So I'm thinking through that. And if that's not possible, if there's some other things that I need to cover in that time period, like one of the things I want to do is I'm keeping track of what I feel like I should have been paying in tithes all along, and I want to cover that amount. And there are some other things that I want to do as well. So if this feels unattainable at that point, I may adjust these dates. But for me, I think that's the way that I want to go. I want to start a 100 envelope challenge at that time. I want to be very aggressive with it to see if I can do it in 6 months. And then I should be able to hit or stay on track with most of this. So that's my thought right now around the savings piece. All right, so let's do the overview. So from an overview perspective for January, my finance overview, I've been able to add an additional $15 to my bills buffer. So now that's up to $300. I've got to figure out a way to track exactly what that covers so that I can make sure that I'm going to hit all of the points that I need to for my 1 month ahead. And I think there are some challenges around that, or maybe I need to get another envelope and then put like, you know, lawn on there, electric on there, mortgage on there, and put the money in there for it to make sure that I'm hitting all of the bills. I'm not sure if that's the best way to do it. I just know right now, I was thinking to myself, I need to save about $2,500. So I'm just trying to save $2,500. But there may be another way for me to do that in a better way and track it specifically against my my actual bills. My Roth IRA is still at 103. I was able to put a little bit more money into my public investment. So I increased that by $20. And then for 401k, I haven't had this number on here before. I actually don't know if this number is correct, but I did find a old quarterly statement. It wasn't really old. I think it was third quarter of 2023. I don't think I've gotten the one for fourth quarter of 2023. And it referenced around $141,000 in that quarterly statement. And so that's what I have there, but that's the reason you see the question marks. All right, now let's look at my actual debt itself. So I've got my debt broken up into 3 categories. I got that idea from a credit worksheet that asked me how I budget uses on her YouTube channel, or used to. I think she's actually upgraded since then, but I really like that form, and I like having 3 different categories. So private label is a category. Sorry, y'all. I'm planning my class reunion, 35th class reunion, and my family reunion. I have to learn how to say no. Let me just tell you, if you are, I'm about to be on a tangent for just a quick second, but if you are someone, and you probably are, because if you're budgeting, you're probably good at organizing at this point. You're probably pretty good at staying kind of consistent, having some discipline, etc. And this has always been my life. You know, my job is to be a project manager. I'm a business analyst, etc. And so organizing and planning things has always been something that has come naturally to me. The problem with that is that then it opens you up to do a lot of stuff that maybe you really shouldn't be doing, or it just becomes so much. And so right now I am stretched, right? I am over my limit. I need to learn how to say no. I'm not really good at saying no. I got to get better at saying no. So I am planning my 35th class reunion. I've got a family reunion that I'm planning. I have to learn that other people can plan stuff. And if Monique says no or stay silent, somebody else might stand up. So I've gotten in the way of other people's blessings by opening my mouth, but I am learning my lesson, and I'm going to stop doing it. Okay, going back. So private label, that's debt that you, for credit cards that you can only use at that particular company. I only have one now, Kohl's 2502. You see 2 amounts that are listed as 0. That's because those credit lines are still open, but they do not carry a balance. That just helps with my credit. Next is general purpose. These are the two cards that I have, and I can use them just as it says for general purposes. So I have a balance of $31.72 for Discover and $4.63 for Ally. And then you have debt installment. These are things that you owe and you're paying on, but you're not really adding to them again like you do for a general purpose credit card or a private label. So Green Sky is sitting at $56.86. Nelnet student loans are at $28.62 and $86.53. Bridgecrest is at $26.834, and PennyMac is at $109.838. Now you'll notice that that one is in gray, and that's because, as I mentioned earlier, I do not consider this as a part of my consumer debt because I really don't have any plans to pay off my home aggressively. So when it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't and I sell the house before then, that it is what it is. So in December, my consumer debt was $50,778 at the end of the month. And at the end of the month for January, we are at 2502. Yes, and if you can't tell, I round everything up. So I don't have any change listed here, and everything is written up, is rounded up. So this balance might be $562.17. I'm still going to round it up to 463. I think I said 562. It's been a long day. Okay, so 463 plus 5686 plus 2862 plus 8653 plus 26834 equals. So my total debt for the month of January is $50,172. And when you take that away from 57, 78, $606. So I've been able to pay $606 on my debt. And there you go. Alrighty, that is it for me. Video is again longer than I anticipated. We should be coming out with some, I should be coming out. I will be coming out with some more information as far as my monthly budget and setup, etc. is concerned. But for now, we are good to go. That's it. Thanks everybody for your time. You guys have a good one.